Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of FTB Revelation. I hope you're all doing fine. So, as usual, let's start with the things that I did off camera and in between episodes. As promised during the last episode, I made a basic applied Energistics system. It's nothing very special, it's just a crafting terminal and 4K storages. Of course, also an ME controller. We do not have AE2 stuff anymore in the pack, so making the processors was a pain. But you can do it with item conduits and some filters, it's nothing very special and I didn't need that much anyway. So I'm also in the process of making an Unbreakable Mattock. I do not have speed upgrades for the mechanical users, so this is going to take a very long time, but it's okay, I have a lot. It's not a problem. I also tried to work on our astral sorcery area, and I'm using path blocks from Blood Magic, and suddenly I stopped liking them because they do not have that much variety. If we use these, they have much more variety, as you can see here. Unfortunately, there is a problem with them, and that is they are super expensive because they need a raw demonic wheel. The other ones I'm not even thinking of, so we're doing the raw wheel. Each one of them needs a crystal, and I'm growing crystals, but it's not fast enough because I'm running very low on demonic wheel in my Tartaric gem, and getting that is very difficult, so we are going to need a mob farm for it. First things first, I want to make the living armor from Blood Magic because my current armor from Tinker's Armory is kind of useless. When a creeper explodes near me, I just die, simply. Normally that should not happen with moderate armor, so I'm going to upgrade my armor, and for that we are going to need some binding reagents. Living armor is an array recipe, so we're going to need arcane ashes, and then we have to add our binding agent. We're going to need 4 pieces because each armor has 4 pieces, and I don't know why I'm stating the obvious. Anyway, we're going to add the iron boots, the iron chestplate, the iron leggings, and the iron helmet. And then we have to wait. The living armor from Blood Magic is very unique because it's literally alive, and whatever you do in game it will give you a buff based on what you do. So if you look at the chestplate, you have 100 upgrade points, and if I, for instance, run a lot, I will get speed. If I mine a lot, I will get haste. If I do self-sacrifice, I will get tough palms, which will give me bonus in self-sacrifice. It's a very useful thing. There are rituals to improve it, to modify it, which we will get later on in this episode. One thing that I forgot to mention is that I completed all the perks for the astral sorcery buffs, so I can use my pickaxe as a shovel, as an axe, and I have insta mining on everything. Even with my sword I will do 60% extra damage, and there's a chance that I will kill 2 monsters at the same time. I also got 96 upgrade points on my living chestplate, which is very good, but unfortunately it means that I cannot gain any more upgrades, and I need more upgrade points because I want to combine them later on in an anvil and then make a final chestplate with the upgrades that I want. So we're going to make a ritual called the Cleansing Soul. This will remove the upgrades and it will give us some tomes. Now that the ritual is complete, we just have to activate it, and then we will get a lot of tomes. The idea is that there is another ritual which will increase the upgrade points from 100 to 300. And if I gather enough upgrade points and combine them in an anvil, I can upgrade that chestplate to something very unique that I will enjoy. So I have to gather some more upgrade points and do this process all over again, and then we will see if we can make the final chestplate today. I forgot to mention that you should put mending on your armor because there is no way to repair it. There was a repair upgrade, but unfortunately it has been removed in 1.12, so mending is the only choice, and hopefully by the time that I'm done the rain will be over. I hate the rain. I don't know why they implemented it. It's so bad. The ritual of the living evolution will increase the upgrade points from 100 to 300. The problem is, once you do this on a chestplate, that chestplate can no longer be modified, or you cannot remove the upgrade points. So I made an extra chestplate and we're going to do the ritual on that one. I just have to be very careful not to put any upgrade points on this one because this is the extra one, and if I upgrade it there is no way I can remove the upgrades. So this one is empty, and it does not have mending, so this is the one that I want to upgrade to 300. So we activate the ritual. We wasted a lot of LP, but it's fine. We have 300 upgrade points, and I just remove it without getting any upgrade points by accident. Good. We're good to go. Also, I know that you can use training bracelets in order to upgrade the things that you want, but the problem is I want the exact numbers, so training bracelets are not an option for me right now. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but iron backpacks in general, they were very neat in 1.10. You could deposit items, you can auto-collect items, and it was very useful. Now I discovered that the satchel from thermal expansion does the same thing. It has a filter, you can put whitelist or blacklist, you can auto-collect stuff, you can deposit stuff by right-clicking on a chest. So why would you use an iron backpack? Because that's just like a bag of holding. I make more of them. So as I have said earlier, we're going to make a mob farm, and in order to do that I'm going to use soul shards again, because I do not produce enough power to run a powered spawner from Ender.io, and I do not have mob essence to run something from Industrial Foregoing. In order to make a soul shard, we need to hunt at least 300 to 400 mobs with the vile sword, which is going to take a considerable amount of time, and since it's not always nighttime, I thought I will go to the nether and make a pigman farm, because that will also solve my gold problems, which I am struggling really hard. So as usual, we make the pattern and right click with a diamond and we have a soul shard. I should be very careful not to kill any mobs until I see a pigman first, because otherwise it will be bound to something else. We also need a waystone in case I get lost in the nether and I can just teleport back home. So this soul shard is tier 0 and it has 0 kills. If I kill this pigman, it should be bound to pigman, and we have 1 soul in the soul shard. Actually a little bit more because we're using the vile sword. And the reason that I chose pigman is simply this one, because when you hit one of them, the rest of them will just follow you, which is going to be much easier in order to get a tier 5 soul shards, which I can control with redstone. I fireballed myself. I hate the nether. Alright guys, the grind is over and I have a tier 5 soul shard, which is amazing. Now we just have to make the spawner room, set filters, make the redstone, and I will do all of that and I will bring you back for the testing. Okay, it's nothing super complicated and we have done this before. I'm using barrier blocks so they cannot go through, I can hit them, vector plates, a lever with redstone conduit, and also a vacuum hopper so that I can collect the loot. So if I put the soul shard inside the soul cage, they should start spawning. I hope. Yep, they do. Okay, that's nice. So this should stop them from spawn. It doesn't. Ah, so did I mess up the conduit? It's just a conduit. I'll fix this and I will bring you back. Normally, if you give a redstone signal to a soul cage, it should stop working, and unfortunately it was not, and the reason is very stupid. The Ender.io conduit by default has a different color for input and output, and it was just not synchronized. So here is the output and it was on green, so I just had to change it to red. My mistake, sorry. Alright guys, I just realized that I spend a lot of time explaining to you something which is fairly obvious and we have done several times in the past. So I just finished it, did some decoration, and I thought I'd just bring you back for the end result. It looks kind of nice. Not as nice as I hoped, but we have storage drawers, we're keeping the gold, the rotten flesh and the XP because I need the rotten flesh in order to make zombie jerky. We do not have a sustainable source of food. The good part is that the mob farm works perfectly. I'm getting a ton of demonic will, and I think it has been buffed in this version because I'm getting more than I expected. Well, I'm not complaining, I'm very happy for this. But that allowed me to make a lot of crystals and I managed to use the blocks that I want for decorating this place. And we will have a ton more crystals in order to finish the other builds. So with the farm done, I think it's enough blood magic for today, because we spent a lot of time on blood magic, and we should also get to the rest of our infrastructure. Having just demonic will not feed us and will not grow resources for us. So we should focus on other stuff, and the only thing that we will come back to in blood magic is to upgrade our chest plate. So let's go to another project. Alright guys, it's been a few days later and I teleported into an extreme hills biome using my nature's compass, because I wanted a faint amaranth from Astral Sorcery and you cannot pick it up without Silk Touch. So I need shears. And thanks to roots we have wooden shears, so I don't actually have to go and mine for iron at this time of night, and we can hopefully take this home. Yep. I have great plans for this, because we are going to use it in order to generate glowstone, and I do not have to go to the nether anymore. We just take a few because I might lose some of them. I might also check out that temple while we're here. It's not a bad idea. Well, during the past few days I've been playing, I was just not in the mood for recording, so there has been a few changes. I automated the production of zombie jerky because that's the only renewable source of food that I have, which gives me enough saturation. I get a lot of rotten flesh, so it's a good idea. I also played a little bit with gadgetry mod because it had an oil well and I thought it would be lovely to try. It's horrible, don't even try it. I'm also making coal coke using thermal expansion redstone furnace, and we also get the oil so we can also make treated wood. Treated wood is amazing, I love the texture. So this is something that we are going to work today, so I will explain it later on. And I also made an extreme reactor. There is a reason for it. It's not actually generating any power. I don't want it for power, I want it for cyanide. Because with cyanide, we can make turbines. I like turbines. They used to be very nice, and they look much more cooler than the extreme reactor. And these are also upgraded capacitor banks because I upgraded our production of grains of infinity. This time I used Project Red in order to automate the grains of infinity, and we have 500. Okay, that is nice. It's not even been an hour, which is nice. I'm happy. So we have a timer from Project Red set to 30 seconds, and every time it sends a pulse, it will toggle this toggle latch, and it will give a redstone signal to these fire starters from Project Red for 30 seconds, and in that time they will produce a grain of infinity. They need a constant supply of redstone in order to function, otherwise you could have just given it a redstone pulse and it would have been lovely. But we don't have cyclic, so this will do, and it's working fine. I'm very happy. So I also did some decoration around the base. I made a path to the altar, I made some arches because I wanted to make it more homely, so that if I play here, at least I will enjoy the scenery. They don't look that great. Anyway, I also made this place. I copied this design from a picture I saw on Minecraft World or something. It's supposed to be a watermill, but they use shaders, so it looked much more nicer in the picture, and this is the end result that I have without shaders. At the time I made this, I did not have access to treated wood, so it does not have the watermill yet, but hopefully it's going to be the place where we're going to produce food and hopefully delicious burgers. So up here is my bedroom. I have my bed and a poppy because I like poppies, and there is nothing wrong or unmanly about having flowers in your room. I like flowers. Alright guys, let's get started with the project that I have in mind. I want to automate the production of some resources, including redstone from red orchids from extra utilities, ender pearls using ender lilies from extra utilities, glowstone using the faint amaranth, and blaze powder using cinder pearls from Tomcraft. The problem is, in order to get that, we are going to need Phytogrow. And it's a very complicated process because we are going to need rich slag, and rich slag is not something to come by easily. So our first order of business is to automate that production. In order to get the rich slag, we're going to need an induction furnace and some clocks. If we put sand inside, the clock gets melted, we get our 4 pieces of iron back, we lose 1 redstone. But we can grow redstone using Phytogenic Insolator, so that's not going to be a problem. But there is also a 20% chance that we will get a rich slag. So this is the thing that I have in mind, and we'll see how we can automate this. Well, I was going to make some devices, and then I realized I only have 6 pieces of glowstone left. That's nothing. I cannot make the lumium, so I cannot make the Phytogenic Insolator, so I have to go to the nether. Oh boy. The whole point was that I would avoid going to the Nether, but I guess that's something I have to do. So, see you on the other side. Well, I just arrived and I received a very warm welcome from that cast. I don't know, it's... This is why I hate this place. Alright guys, let's make it a little bit more simple. So, an igneous extruder will give us cobblestone. We pulverize it to get sand. Then, a sequential fabricator will make the sandstone, which gets pulverized into niter. A phytogenic insulator will give us wood, we smelt it to get charcoal, and then we pulverize it to get the dust, because that's also one of the ingredients. We smelt a redstone clock to get rich slag, and then we can make the phyto grow. We infuse it with RF to get the flux infused phyto grow, and another phytogenic insulator will give us redstone. And since this is very complicated, I'm going to automate it using XNet. I just have to hook everything up to an XNet connector and then automate everything through the controller, because it will recognize all the devices and I can configure the inputs and outputs. The good thing is, once I supply this with iron, it will be self-sufficient. Alright guys, I set up shop behind our generator and our farm so that I can have easy access to power, because the only item that needs an independent power source is the XNet controller. The rest of them can get power through the XNet cables. Also, they will transfer fluids and items. Working with the XNet controller is very easy. For instance, here I have a channel for energy. I'm extracting energy from the capacitor banks and I'm inserting it into the various devices. Then I have to make a channel for fluids in order to transfer water to the phytogenic insulators, and then I can make a channel for items. I will do all of that and I will bring you back. Okay, so finally I'm done, and it took much longer than I expected because there were so many devices, so many inputs and outputs, and I had to configure a lot of channels. There are some exceptions in the system. For instance, this phytogenic insulator requires an Ender IO conduit which has self-feed, so that it will take the orchid out and put it back in again. I could not do it using XNet, it would have been too complicated. This one also has an Ender IO conduit which will extract the saplings and put the excess ones inside the trash. But we automated this and we're not using any resources. Everything is self-sufficient and the amount of iron that I put inside will stay there. Also, I did some calculation and I added some augments to the devices so that it will increase the chance of secondary products, which is niter and the rich slag. Also, some chances that the phytogenic insulators will not use the flux, so this is slightly more efficient and it will go faster. So we can go and do our next project, which is the last one before we wrap up the episode. Well, technically it's not a project, it's just to get another star, because I already have 2 skulls and I believe that I can craft the 3rd one, yes. In between episodes I will go and hunt wither skeletons to get more skulls, because we need a lot of nether stars to get started with. I need to upgrade my tartaric gems, I need to upgrade the blood altar, and I need to craft some stuff. So, let's get started. So we are down in the mine shaft, and instead of making a mess, I'm using a grinder from Draconic Evolution which has a little bit of power. So if we spawn the wither, he will spawn and there's a little bit of lag. I can sit on my chair and have some snacks. Hi. This is entertainment. Yep, he's done. Okay, that was fast. And we have a star. Good. I probably should take this grinder because I forget in which tunnel this is and then I will lose it, and crafting it is a pain. I do not have access to that much draconium. This one in the demonic crucible seems to be empty because the crystals are not growing, so we can upgrade it using our hellfire forge with a nether star. It's a waste of a nether star because normally the first thing I make is a builder's wand, and this time I'm making a greater tartaric gem. Grand tartaric gem. Oh, this one was the greater one. Okay. In any case, that's the last tier. I'm happy. Alright guys, it's also time to wrap up the episode. I know using a phytogenic insulator is not the most efficient way of growing plants, and a garden cloche will be much easier. But I have already played a lot with garden cloches. You know how they work, I know how they work, and I thought we should try something new. It will be more tedious, but in the long run, it should not make much difference. So in between episodes, I will also gather some more nether stars, gather some more resources, and next episode we will also look into blood magic to first upgrade our chestplate because I still don't have the enough points, and also how to generate resources using blood magic. So, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.